It's your plane. I'm here for the ride.
Hey, welcome to the Black Guy Who Tips podcast. I am your pilot, Rod, and I'm joined as always by my co-pilot, and
Karen.
we are here to get you to your destination, wherever that may be.
Yes, wherever that may be.
Okay, it might be a little turbulence. All right, we're gonna be cruising at a nice altitude, but we're not alone. We have a guest, first time guest on our show. I've been a guest on her show
Yes.
a few times. It is the host of the Series of Fortunate Events podcast, Mimi Cherry. What's going on, girl?
Oh my God, I'm here. Hi.
Hey.
Hello, bonjour. Hello to your listeners. This is such an honor. And thank you for having me.
Oh no, it's
Mhm.
dope that it's dope that you could be here.
Right?
I feel like you're really good at like promoting as well.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even really like whenever we have a guest, it's like you like, hey, can you give us pictures for the like show art and stuff? And so Mimi always has these fabulous pictures. And as I go to send the picture out to promote the show today, it like the way it captures the screenshot is just like 100% boobs.
My boobs.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, oh, I see what she did. Genius. This is gonna.
you, you know what's funny is that so I just got back from a trip and like I caught like a 24-hour bug. So I'm sorry if I sound a little stuffy, but I could not miss this. And as soon as I got off the plane, I had just enough time to nap and then go into the city and work the door for a fundraiser for my drag mom. And after a while, I kept seeing everybody would look at me, but then look at me, and then look down. And then, like, the money just kept dropping into the bucket. And then I went up to my drag mom and I said, I see what you're doing. I know why you put me at the door. Anyways, good morning.
Presentation.
It matters.
It's all about presentation.
We work our assets.
Yes. Get a return on them.
Mimi,
Community.
can you tell everybody about series of fortunate events, like where to find it,
Oh my God,
what
yes.
exactly the podcast is about?
Oh, please and thank you. Series of Fortunate Events, aka Sophie Pod, is my little brainchild. I like to say it's like a fun little hang with a friend. I used to say that it was the love child of Barbara Walters and Andy Cohen, but it got dated and problematic. So now I just say, I mean, I like to sometimes make out with my guests, but even that I stopped doing because even that kind of became problematic because I was like, I don't know, this is not so good in 2025. But anyways, it's a fun little it's a fun little hang. It's part interview, part games. And speaking of promoting, I thank you for giving me a chance to come here because I'm on my promoting kind of bandwagon. August 7th, Oasis in San Francisco. I'm bringing you the Bay Area's first reverse roast. What is a reverse roast? I hear both of you asking. In a dark world that is scary and threatening enough, I'm not down with like the original roasts, but I started playing with this concept with my friends and I was like, what about a reverse roast where we're nice to each other but in a cunty way? And enough people laughed at it that I decided to produce it as a show, but we're also doing some classic stand-up comedy, some classic drag, and my fun little podcast games as part of Sophie Pod Live 2025. So August 7th, San Francisco, Oasis, come on down. They're giving me a deal in terms of the tickets. They're very well priced for a podcast show in San Francisco. So come support queer art, especially now more than ever. We need it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, first of all, that sounds dope. You're calling it a bake instead of a roast, so is it?
Yes, yes.
Is that because you're building things up?
Is it you gonna say that 350, 375? What's the temperature?
A cute little 425 in the beginning, and then we drop it down to 350.
Okay, I can deal with that.
I'm also in the process of starting a micro bakery. I like to bake, so it's just kind of like bringing the world together. I actually, I brought this out at a recent event. It's my bakey hole, and so I was having people taste my baked
Oh.
goods with a baked version of a something hole.
Yeah, I was gonna
Happy
say, that
Pride.
looks familiar. Okay, that seems like that. I actually kind of maybe that is how I get into glory holes. Is they just have food. They're just handing
I
you like,
mean, can you imagine? It's just
yeah.
like
Honestly, that should be a whole restaurant. That should be how they get the food. Is like, your order is up for the croissants, and just a hand sticks out, and you're like, oh,
oh,
thank you.
and it's a golden gloved hand too, because of
Yeah.
course, you know,
And you see,
sanitation.
This is how the Pokemon catches me. Pokemon is like, I got something for you.
I think I would like if they had it like at waist height. I wouldn't. I get on my knees and eat like the croissant right there. I'm just like,
This is absolutely delicious.
What? It's a bakey hole. Calm down.
Nobody cares about the gold, and it's absolutely delicious.
Go on my Instagram. You'll see at Oaklash I brought it out, and you can tell who the gays are because they immediately got on one knee.
We had a lot going on, but let me get back to so Sophie Pod, series of fortunate events. How'd you come up with the name? And like I said, if people tune into an episode, what should they expect?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, so I like to highlight and feature what I believe are interesting people. So they can be people like you, Rod. They can be people like my drag mom, Mama Celeste. They can be just Shauna Christmas. I had Shauna Christmas on during my Vegas sprint. April Brucker, who's a ventriloquist. I just find these people fascinating in one way or another, and I like to like hang out with them. And then I like to play silly games. The name, you know what's funny? I've been asked this question a few times, and part of it was shout out my podfather, your podfather too. We're part of the same pod family, Keith Malley from Keith and the Girl. And many, many years ago, they put out the guide to podcasting that like I literally still have the printout here. And it was doing one of those exercises that I came up with the name. And I dug it out hoping that I had written notes, but I didn't. But I know that part of it was me looking around my room, and I had the books because I love the books, series of unfortunate events. And shout out the Netflix series. It's really, really good too. But the books are great. And I can't remember exactly what it was that made me pick that and flip it. But I think there was something about, now that I think about it more, I think the fact that it was 4 words, because then I could make it SOFE, kind of like KATG. And it all roads lead back to Keith Malley and Hamda Khalili. So
yeah, you know what? That, like I said, that's definitely the inspiration for our podcast. We would not have had this show if I had not heard them, and specifically, I ironically heard someone try to insult them by being like, "Your job is easy," and then they did a whole episode about like, if it's so easy, why don't you do it?
Do it.
And obviously to me it sounded like a lot of work, but it also was like, oh wait, yeah, you could do it. You don't need to wait on someone to like come tell you to start a show.
Right.
How long have you been doing Sophie Pod?
Since 2017, and funny enough, before my ADD brain forgets, Keith Malley is also a big inspiration for the Big Bake, because I would tell him about drag roasts, and drag roasts are just as cutting, if not more, than like your average stand-up comedian roast. And it was Keith asking me, would you ever do a roast, that really got the ball rolling. So shout out Keith Malley, because he also is the inspiration for Mimi Cherry's Big Bake. But yes, I started in 2017. It was what I call like a cute little art project. It was audio only. My first microphone, and it's funny, I see people using them now, and I'm like, ugh. The blue, what is it? The blue horn, blue something. Yeah,
we had it. We had the blue snowball too.
I think that was like the intro. That was like, you get a podcast, everybody was like, here goes your blue snowball, Mike.
Yep.
Yes, and because I come from the school, again, if this is a drinking game, you're going to be drunk if Keith Malley is the word, but having such high standards, being a Keith and the Girl listener, hearing my own stuff, I was like, oh no, I got to step my game up. So at that time, my roommate he's still with us, is an audiophile, and he took me down the road of, I wonder if I can pick it up. I like invested in my Scarlett Focusrite years ago, and I mean, it's literally since 2017, and it's gone to New York with me, it's gone to Los Angeles with me, it's gone to Las Vegas with me, and it's been tried and true. And I then in the pandemic, so the other thing is that it was an art project for a long time, and I would pick it up and put it down, pick it up, put it down. Neurospicy brain, ADHD. Also, day job, moving, whatever, right? And in the pandemic, I started it again, and I started doing Zoom podcasts. Then I put it down again, and then I credit my sweet drag friends, Phoebe Cakes and Angel Food Cakes, who have In My Crumble Opinion. And I started seeing their podcast on YouTube, and I got jealous, and I was like, I want to hang out with my friends again. And at that time, some other friends of mine who are venue owners in Oakland had opened a new venue, Fluid 510. So I started I bought a camera, I upgraded again the setup, and I started doing the in-person video podcasts it was 2 years ago in the summer. And then last year, because it cost me a lot of money between the Ubers and then buying everybody drinks and like buying them food, I decided, okay, let's start recording these again on Zoom or like here in my apartment, or I can come to places. And I made it a goal this year to be actually serious about it and like make it a proper business. So Mimi Cherry Productions is now an LLC, and I made it a goal that every Monday in your feed, you're going to have a series of Fortunate Events podcast. And that means going insane like I did a few weeks ago when I went to Vegas and I made 2 months worth of podcasts in 1 week, and I was delirious by the end. But
dedication, right?
Yeah, but they're in the can.
It's funny to me too, because like I don't know what your business model could possibly be, because you are one of the most generous hosts, and I thought she was making a joke when I was on the show. She was like, oh, every guest, try to get them something and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's cute, but I mean, it's podcast. Who expects, it's like, come on, people show you hang out and it's cool. And hopefully some people come listen to you and they think you're cool. That's it. That's been the exchange. And then she's like, what's your mailing address? And I got not only a t-shirt, but also $20, like
very auntie style,
like yeah, like here you go, like stuff it in my bra or whatever, you know what I mean, like stick it, like what's that behind your ear? Oh, and I was like, and I get home and like I open the package and I sit down and I was like, what is this? This is like fake, like Mimi Cherry money. Like I'm gonna look on it, like, oh, I see, it's like a souvenir,
beaver bucks.
Yeah, like no, it's literally $20. And we were talking or something. I like DM'd or something.
But you pinged me. You were like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, hey, did you?
You were so suspicious too. You were like, what is this money?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you catching this up and like all of a sudden the $20 like flew down in there by accident, and you raised my 20.
Right. And she's like, to Charlotte. And she's like, I told you everybody gets like something for coming on the show. And I was like, oh, you meant that? I thought that was a joke. A t-shirt is plenty something. I have stickers around here from her. I have plenty of stuff but it was very nice of you. But it also made me think, you do all these episodes. I'm like, how are you even staying afloat? Because I feel like every time you have a guest,
net positive.
That's got to be hard.
Well, I will be honest, I do have a day job, and I have a very well-paying day job that I am trying very hard right now, and I'm literally investing into these side hustles to grow them so that someday when I don't survive a layoff 5 years from now, 10 years from now, please let it be 10 years from now, that this has been built to the point that it can replace that. And so I'm very much in investment mode right now. A. B. In this economy, I don't think it's fair that if you have the means to not share it with other people, especially working performers, especially working artists. And it's interesting because it also just literally helps me sleep at night, because in my day job, I'm surrounded by people who make stupid money, like ridiculous money. Like I'm however many steps away from like one of the richest men in the world. And I'm also surrounded by starving artists, literally, like friends of mine that like, do 10 gigs just to barely pay the rent. And like, I see their like shoes with holes in them. And I'm like, what size are you? I have shoes that are brand new in my closet. Let me give them to you. And then when I started the Patreon, it just didn't feel right to like take money. And again, in this economy, when I'm doing so well, to be taking money and not redistributing the wealth. So that kind of the Patreon became the funnel for the redistribution of the wealth. And I'm hoping that at some point between the Patreon, monetizing YouTube, brand sponsorships, that's why I'm out here like making cute little like content that just feels like they're ads, because I'm hoping someday somebody will buy them from me. I'm just building right now, and we build together,
Yeah, no, that's dope. I like I said, it was not expected, but at the same time, it was welcome. I still got that $20 in my wallet right now, just in case some shit happens. It's always good to have cash on you. You know what I mean?
Yes. For real.
I
For
looked at
real.
it like, what is this foreign piece of paper?
Yeah. Now you brought up earlier back in the day, you used to make out with guests sometimes on the show. Like, what was that about? Like, was that like part? Like, was it a segment? It was like, and now we make out, or was it like you were feeling the vibe from the guests? Like, how did that work?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's funny. It's more of a joke than anything. So when we were recording at Fluid 510, and it was funny, it started, I think, with like the Nikki episode. So my camera times out at 29 minutes. And I've built in that whenever I'm recording with the Canon, we have a commercial break. And so I started joking when we would fire up the camera, like, oh, we were in the back making out. We weren't. But it just became like a running joke that like we would take a commercial break to go make out, maybe touch a little, maybe like whatever. And then in one episode, one of my sweet friends, Beefcakes, kissed me on camera. They were like, oh, well, would you like to do it on camera? And I was like, sure. And then for a while I was joking. So here in the Bay Area, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, and we have like one of the publication does like the Bay Area's best like every year that people vote. And so I was joking that we should handwrite the most H word podcast in the Bay Area. H word as in horny. But I grew up a little bit in the last year and a half, and I realized that, you know, my branding is not that. And I just, you know, I also got sober,
do feel
like
like it's so interesting because like we had obviously Me Too movement. People became more aware of like consent culture, sexuality, like people's hidden like things. So like maybe like we would find out like, oh yeah, this the person did a show and they made out, but then like later they write a blog like I didn't feel comfortable. So I definitely feel on that where you're like, I don't, you know,
I don't
like
want to make anybody feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
And I also got sober, like literally, like getting sober changed my life in so many ways. And I was doing a lot of inappropriate things, and I was putting myself in danger, and I was doing stupid things because I was drunk a lot. And so that was like a big shift completely in my life. I'm now 13 months California sober. Ding. But no alcohol.
Right. No, I totally understand. It's interesting because also I think there's this line between like sex positivity spaces, and then there's like, you know, but there's also, you have to be informed and have consent and all this stuff. So like sex positivity and playing with sex, especially in areas where it's been taboo, where it's been cordoned off, where so you like want to encourage people to be like, let their freak flags fly, but at the same time everyone's flag might fly a little higher, a little lower than others. So yeah, like, but it is cool because I do think about like there was a time when it was like that, what a cool thing to do. A good example for me is Lizzo. Lizzo, if it was 1996, the Lizzo story of like we went to the strip club, we was fucking.
Oh yeah, been a no story.
That like if that was Madonna, it's like you guys have the best boss in the fucking world
ever.
How do I get on this tour? But 2024 is like So did they ask you about eating the coochie bananas, or did they make you eat the coochie bananas? So like I totally feel you on that. When you talk about being sober and how like you felt like you were putting yourself in a dangerous position, what was like the craziest thing you think? Like, was there a moment where you're like, this is rock bottom, I ain't doing this shit no more, I gotta stop?
When I got catfished. That was for sure my breaking point. And it's funny because this afternoon is the birthday party for one of my friends, and not last year but the year before, it was at that birthday party that I had just been realizing that I had been catfished, and I started playing with my sobriety at that time. I did 75 hard. And so there was a few things that happened. So
what's 75 hard?
Oh, so 75 hard is this like fitness / life changing modality that for 75 days let me rattle them off. You drink a gallon of water, you work out twice. One of them has to be outside, each for 45 minutes. You have to read 10 pages of nonfiction. You can't have any junk food. And then like maybe something else.
That is hard.
And so it was. And like I felt very accomplished. But I used it as an excuse to visit my relationship with alcohol, because at that time it was easier for me to say I'm not drinking because of 75 hard than I'm not drinking because I think I might be an alcoholic. And so so I got catfished, and that like really fucked with me. Like it really fucked with me. And so I was like, maybe, I'm just not making good choices, and let's start with this choice. Let's remove this.
Was it like traditional catfish? Like you met someone through the internet,
right.
and then just like, did you meet them in person, or did you like?
Do you want the cat? I'll give you the catfish story. So, God, so I'm still on dating profiles. At that time, I was trying like a new one, and some dating apps are better about filtering people than others. And let's just say this one had no filter system, right? And I at that time also, and I watched this YouTube show called Social Catfish, and I've been watching it. And so I've been learning about some of the ways that catfishing happens. There's different ways. And so I have that in the back of my mind. But I'm still kind of naive at this point in terms of like online dating. I had met a lot of people over the years through online dating. Like I had been very successful with apps. And so anyways,
honestly, in a weird way, I think being part of the KTG community would make it actually easier to get catfish, because we have had so many friendships and people that we've met through the internet, where it's like, who the fuck would be the weirdo who is lying about who they are? Who the fuck cares who you are? Just be yourself and show up and have a good time. So I could see that like actually working against you.
Yeah. So, thank you. Thank you. Yes. And so, anyways, I meet this guy on an app, and we go onto WhatsApp. First red flag. Even though some people do use WhatsApp, very catfish, heavy friendly. Like they love WhatsApp, they love Signal, they love like all those things. And so we start messaging, and he was playing the long game. Long story short, it was basically what they call a pig butchering scam. And so what it is it's a very long con, and he's like messaging me every day. And I remember the first weird one was like, oh, how was your day today? And like, oh, I met with this CEO and he was late. And because he was late, we had to like cancel the deal. And that means that I have to pay for, like, it was just weird. Like, it was really weird. But like this posturing of like power, basically, I'm now realizing. And then he would send me, because I don't even know who they are, they would send me pictures of like a dinner that they went to, or like presents they got their niece. And then suddenly they started talking about how they invest on the side. I also have an investment portfolio that includes crypto. And so I'm not dumb about this, and I'm not new to this, which saved me in a way. And so he's telling me about, but I also know that like I'm limited in terms of what I know with crypto, and I've lost money in crypto. So like I'm very like, skittish when it comes to crypto. Anyways, long story short, he is showing me like what he's making on crypto, and he wants to teach me. And so he sends me to this website that is like, and mind you, I know about crypto and I know about crypto exchanges. And so let's say like Chainlink, right, is like a crypto code. He sends me to chainlin.com. And it looks like an exchange, but it's not really. And because I watched this Social Catfish YouTube show, I know that there's these fake websites that they set up, and you put your money in, but long story short, you never get it out. And it looks like you're making money, and they make it look like you're making money. But when you try to get your money out, they want to charge you, or they want this, or they want, like, you never get your money back. And part of it too was he was trying to like get me to buy Bitcoin. And like what I was doing was like, because also a lot of these apps now know about catfishing and like these scams, if you're trying to buy a lot of Bitcoin, they like kind of slow you down. And the catfish was like, no, hurry up. And was like sending me screenshots with like little circles and arrows and like, like, and it's like, bro, and that's part of the thing is that they try to pressure you. And then
make a choice now.
And then I was like, hey, this is making me nervous. I don't really want to do this right now. And then he got mean and he got aggressive, which is another part of the scheme. And then along the way, he had sent me like little intimate pictures. And like all I had done was kind of like, oh, a little like, ooh, whoopsie, like, nothing too crazy. He
Right.
sent those back to me trying to like blackmail me, like trying to scare me. And I said, I will
Oh,
post that on my Instagram right now, bro. Like,
yeah, I
what
was
you
gonna
talking
say,
about?
you
How
know,
you been to keeping the girl forums?
you know who he was fucking with the wrong one. He was like, pretty sure these titties they seen them. They seen them. Oh no, not my titties.
I
Wow.
will post them myself. You're not doing anything special.
Myself.
Yeah. Like you
But I also know that like people have like killed themselves because of threats like
right.
that.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
know, and like and so long story short, I realized at that point that I'm being catfished. I realized at that point that I'm being scammed. I got really angry for like 24 hours and I was like, fuck you, you're a scammer, blah blah blah, da da da. And then mind you, and again, because I watched this social catfish show, I know that if you fall enough for a scam, you get put into a database. Why did that number last year try to reach out to me talking about what's your dog's name and when are we going to hang out? And I was
Wow.
like, no, did I get brought up in the
Yeah.
Rolodex of numbers?
did.
You
And
came
like how much information, basic information. And then by the way,
got on
like
the list.
anybody that I would talk to would know my dog's name.
they were like, it's been a year. Let's see if she forgot, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see if
Yeah.
let's see if she's drinking again. Maybe she's slipping, you know? Mhm.
I literally checked my phone records to make sure it was the same number. And I said,
Wow.
and I texted them back and I said, you thought I wouldn't forget about you?
Right.
They
That's
just never responded.
crazy. But you know, it's funny too because I remember listening to a podcast that was about women who get I forget what what the name of it was. There was romance scam. It was a romance scam. And it was like accomplished women that were
Yeah.
getting romance scammed. And they had multiple women that they interviewed on it. And one of the biggest problems is that there's a lot of shame around it because
Yes.
there's like I'm too smart and too accomplished to have been a person that sent money to a Nigerian scammer or whatever. So then
Yeah.
we'll never know how many people it really is because like who the fuck is gonna come forward and be like, it was me. I know I'm the CEO of such and
Yeah.
such.
Yeah.
But it was very shameful. Like there was a lot of shame attached to it, and these women felt like they couldn't tell anyone in the first place. And then also, of course, the romantic feelings, right? Like because in real life, if you're an accomplished woman, it's hard to find men that don't have some weird ass hang up about like you got more than me or you're doing better than me or you don't quote unquote need me or whatever.
Right.
And so like
Welcome to my life.
so finding somebody online that like doesn't make you feel that way and
Yeah.
it can be like anyway it can be very disarming and at the same time it's like and maybe I need some help, my daughter's having and so you're like yeah of course I'll help you, like you don't have a hang up about me helping you, you're not gonna come back and then bam motherfucker's a catfish. So I definitely hear like
You know what's wild? Yeah, you know what's wild too? And there's so many layers to these types of scams. So I'm realizing now in real time. So from watching that show, I know that sometimes there's this like superhero kind of I'm labeling it that, this superhero scam where this third layer scammer comes in like, oh, I can help you get your money back. And I cut a clip from a podcast talking about this and I put it on TikTok, and every other week there's somebody posting a comment, I can help you get your money back if you've been scammed. I just delete them. But you can tell that it's that third layer of the scam that's fine. And it's wild. It's wild out here, folks.
Yeah. Karen, were you about to say something?
Oh, I was about to say when you was talking about the women, the romantic scam.
Yeah.
And the thing about it, I realize this. I will continue to say this. Everybody thinks that they're above getting got, but everybody gets got. But everybody wants to pretend like they never got. This is, and then they want to blame you for being a sucker for getting got. When at some period of time, everybody is got by somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. It's like, yeah, people should not feel ashamed for coming out and saying they got got.
The technology is also improved. I remember when I got it wasn't obviously a romance scam because I'm like so in love, but they hit me up on I was doing a podcast. I got a phone call from my bank according to the caller ID, and I'm like, the fuck is my bank calling me for? And my bank is, the person is on the line, they have certain information they've probably gotten off of some website or something, so they know enough to make me feel like, oh, okay, this is really a call from my bank. And as they're talking to me, they're like, "Hey, so we got this fee that on your account that looks like maybe someone charged something that's not right, and where we just need to verify it." And like and keep in mind, my mind, I'm also freaking out because our podcast is live, and so like Karen and Justin are co-hosting it now without me,
and I think that's what.
and I'm like, shit, I got to get back. Like this is
So
important.
you feel that pressure of like, oh, I gotta get this in right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I ended up like doing like giving him like whatever the thing was, right? And so as I'm
Probably your social or something like
yeah,
that.
I think it was like my PIN. I think they needed my PIN number. I think they even had my
Sure.
card, everything, which is like,
That's
hey,
wild.
bank, what the fuck, bank? Anyway, but I was like, man, they got all this information or whatever. And so I give them like the PIN code, I think, on the phone, and I'm like, yeah, it's this. And they're like, okay, yeah, so we got the fee taken off. Don't worry about it, blah, blah, blah. And also I had looked online at my account, and there was like a mysterious looking fee or whatever. But that could have
Which
been,
they probably charged it
had
themselves.
to charge something, right?
Yes.
And it was pending, meaning they probably had tried to charge something knowing it was gonna not go through.
Right.
Because they didn't have my PIN number. But then as we're doing the show, I'm seeing like, wait, now something did go through. Now something else. Yeah, a Publix in Florida. What the fuck? And so I called the real bank and was like, what the fuck? And they're like, oh, that's a scam. Now it says something about the real bank in our state of society that they were immediately like, yeah, you got scammed. We giving you all the money back
because
Here's
we
a new
know
card.
you. Yeah,
like
we
it was no hassle because and they were like, and this is happening a lot. I went to the actual bank in person the next day, and they were like, oh yeah, this happens all the time. And I was
not
just
all the time,
right? And I'm like, dog, we are just out here with the wolves. And once again, I felt a level of shame, like, oh, I got like I'm fucking stupid. I thought I was smart, and that's how they got me. So I just think, like Karen said, a lot of us, everybody eventually gets got, but it's the shame around it that keeps us from sharing how we get got. And it's also if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's the arrogance that it can't happen to you that makes it happen. Like it is everyone who's like, I would have known, one day it'll be
that
you.
was me as it was actively happening.
Yeah,
like, I was like, I'm not gonna get like this can't be like
yes, and sometimes it can get so bad out of people's pride. I was watching this documentary, and it was like this older man and this older woman, and I think it was like their retirement money and things like that. And their kids kept telling their dad, it was like, Dad, this is a scam. Stop sending this money, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But the dad has so much pride that and like they was like talking to them kind of after they had lost everything, and he was like, yeah, I just had too much pride to
the worst people
myself that I had got scammed.
I mean, I kind of feel bad for these people because obviously you get scammed if you feel bad for people, but I feel like the worst case to have to make to get sympathy is the people that get scammed because they was trying to like fuck somebody on the side, because there was a story with the old, like there was a what's his name, To Catch a Predator did like To Catch a Scammer, Chris Hansen.
Yeah, Chris Hansen.
He did like To Catch a Scammer or whatever, right? And it was short lived, but it was like they found this old man. It was like an old couple, and the dude was like looking at these like pictures of these internet models that someone sent him like in an email, and they were super hot. And I'm like, buddy, you're 70. I hate to break it to you, the 19-year-old supermodel is randomly emailing you. And he like gave her money and everything, and so like part of how he got so deep was he was gonna have to confess to his wife and family, like, I was flirting with a fucking 20-year-old, a picture of a 20-year-old model, and now the life savings is over there. And I'm like, God damn, I feel terrible, but also like, damn, bro, you was out here.
You know what's even worse or better or ironically whatever, and it happens on Social Catfish every once in a while, because once in a blue moon they'll have like a sweet person that you can tell that the hosts kind of feel bad for and they're like gonna help, but like 3 out of 5 is some like old racist bitch or asshole that like is talking all kinds of like would never want to date a black person, hates black people, and then the hosts every single time, it's from Nigeria, you've been talking to somebody from Nigeria, how does that make you feel? Which I also don't like how much glee these hosts take in
Yeah,
like delivering that information. It's
yeah,
smarmy on like all levels, but it like those are always a little bit like, well,
yeah. Now your podcast is like heavily video, like it's Instagram, it's all that stuff. What like
yes.
when you first started in 2017, was it video as well, or like
No. Yeah, no, the video transition started in the pandemic with the Zoom. In the beginning, it was just me, my Focusrite, and some mics, and like I would take it. It was very mobile then. Like I would go to people's homes and like record from people's homes, and it was really nice, very intimate. But yeah, in the pandemic, I started doing them over Zoom, which
right?
opened up the video. And then once video happened and I started learning how to edit, it was
Yeah.
literally like Pandora's box for me. Like it opened like a whole like third eye in my brain and I started
How do you
thinking in video.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, cause like, do you think of your podcast more as a video podcast or audio podcast? Like, how to? Cause I feel like in my lifetime, podcasts change. When you say you have a podcast now, people are like, "What's the YouTube?" Like, instead of
Yeah.
being like, "Oh, is it on Spotify? Is it on?"
Yeah.
They're looking for video. So I feel like
Yes.
this if I would have not known you started this in 2017, I would have thought you've just always had a video podcast because it's so natural for you.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, it's interesting because I work from home a lot now, period, since the pandemic. Okay, the pandemic, so much is like pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Like how much of a time marker it is. And now that in the last 5 years, I've spent so much time at home, working from home, I have YouTube on in the background 90% of the time. And so YouTube, I used to be an Apple podcast consumer because I've been listening to podcasts now for almost 20 years, like almost as long as Keith and the Girl has been around. And
Mm-hmm.
so for half of that time, if not more, right? Let's call that 16 out of the 20 years, it was
Mm-hmm.
audio. It's interesting, right? How much of a pivot the video did to it and how much it like, boom, like the trajectory of it,
Right.
because it brings it into people's living rooms. It doesn't become such a solo experience. You can sit
Right.
with your friend and watch a podcast, which before it was like you would have to be in a car on a car trip to listen to a
Right.
podcast with somebody. So I think it opened up that aspect of it. And, credit to like, for as much as we hate him, like Joe Rogan, right? Like Joe Rogan was the first one that kind
Mhm.
of like made it like a video thing. Keith and the
Yes,
Girl
he
did
did.
too.
But
Um,
he brought it to the next level. No matter what you think
yes.
about him, he
Yeah.
forced people to be like, you can't
Nah,
underestimate this
he
video
literally
part.
he literally changed Spotify.
Yes, he
Like,
forced
Yeah.
them to
like
change.
when Spotify bought or whatever they did with his podcast, gave him all the money, and first he came over there and it was like just the audio, and like his fans were like, "What the fuck?"
They were
And
they were
so
Yeah.
hot.
they had to change it to video. They had to add all that comment stuff, and that's because of his influence being probably the biggest podcast in the world.
Right.
He was the J-Lo of Spotify.
He really was.
Yes.
He really was. He
I
changed
say
it.
that because J-Lo, Google Images, you can credit J-Lo in the dress.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and so I also credit, Logan Paul with like his podcast, and so like Trisha Paytas with her podcast, like they really brought in that like studio feeling to it, that production value. And
Right.
again, once I crossed over to a certain point that like I had production value, it just, again, my brain just now thinks that way. And it's funny because, well, I'm also a photographer since I was a kid. So I'm an artist, like I'm a visual artist. So visual mediums are very much my vibe. And exclusive to the Black Guy Who Tips. I started on the way home. I was on the plane. I just did a work trip last week, and I was watching an Almodovar movie, and he has like a very specific style of like photography of how he shoots his movies. And the movie, I think it's like The Room Next Door is the name of the movie. It's Tilda Swinton and oh god, that redheaded lady. Anyways, something about that movie had me in the feels, and I've been processing something lately. And long story short, I started writing my first short movie script,
Oh,
and I'm putting it out there that I think I'm gonna make that my project for next year, like just the shooting of it. So what I'm
right.
gonna do for the next 6 months is like really get into the process of like writing a script.
Yeah.
And I wanna write it, I wanna direct it. I don't know if I wanna be in it, But yeah, I'm really excited. I'm just out
That's
here trying to
dope.
be an artist.
Yeah, I love that you like don't have any boundaries when it comes to that. Think of it and be like, why not give it a fucking shot? Like, who knows?
Fuck
Um,
it.
Nah, it's worked out in my favor in my life where it's just been like, you want to write a TV show? I was like, why not? Maybe I can do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, worst thing that happened is I'm back to where I started. I'm like, oh, I guess I couldn't do it. Like, it's not the end of the world. And I think that's really dope. How do you like go about for your show, like picking your guest? Like, what is it just like
Ooh.
personal? Is it like people you know? Like, how did it start? And I noticed you reference drag culture a lot. So, like,
Yes.
did it start with like, I want people to meet these interesting drag people? Like, how did that start?
Chicken or the egg, right? So when I first started the podcast, it was really just like me and my friends. And at that time, I was going to drag shows and shooting, as in like with a camera, drag shows. And it became a very easy pond to target shoot into for guests. And so I started featuring a lot of drag performers, local drag performers, which then grew to like local drag icons. And then weirdly, and I always hated it, people started calling it a drag podcast. And I was like, no, it's not supposed to be a drag podcast. It's just a podcast. And so I very started to curate kind of like my guests around the fact that it was not a drag podcast. But again, my best friend is a drag queen, my drag mother, I do drag every once in a while. So it just still is a very easy pond to fish in. And it's interesting, right? Because I was having a conversation with my trainer. She's 25, and I was telling her how much her life is going to change over time and how much her preferences are going to change and what she believes in and what motivates her. Because even me in the last 5 years, things have changed.
Right.
And I'll be honest, right? That like in our last administration, when things were like a little kinder and nicer and easier, I was starting to get a little bit like my mom's generation that like, oh, these militant gay friends of mine, they're a little too militant. And now that things have changed and we are once again even more under attack, I'm out here militant with them and like, fuck this shit, we're getting militant together. And so just even how I have changed in the last few years. And so even then, for as much as I was like, no, it's not a drag podcast. Now I'm like, we're out here. We're being clear as fuck. Come to my bakey hole. Let's all be gay.
Now there is energy you have to have, like, especially I feel like in a time of resistance, like you have to turn that energy up. And I feel you on that. And it's just so interesting because like I'm not in the drag culture that much. I don't know much about it. So women,
and it's not for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, it's not. Nothing negative to it. It's like, some people don't like. They're not into anime. It's not like they hate it, and I get it. I start talking about fucking Bleach or whatever, and they're just like their eyes glaze over.
Yes, they're like, the fuck
you mean the thing that cleans?
Yes, but like drag culture has blown up in the last 10 or so years. I mean, obviously RuPaul's Drag Race, like really spawning people into like stars outside of the TV show,
right?
So like, has that influenced like the direction of your show at all? Because I feel like that blowing up that might get you more clicks and might get you more attention. You know what I mean?
Why, yes, and not in the way that you think. There is something counterculture to the counterculture, because once counterculture becomes mainstream, then is it counterculture? And there is a conversation in drag that RuPaul's Drag Race is amazing, right? But not everybody gets on the race. It's just like, people. It's not that you're not a football player just because you're not in the NFL, right? I was gonna say the NBA. It shows how much I know. And so, for example, the local club, when they book the Drag Race girl, that check is going to have a few more zeros on it than the local girl. And so it makes me want to give the local ones that much more of a platform. And I want to amplify things like Oaklash that much more, because Oaklash So, for example, Oaklash is a nonprofit organization that started out as a silly little day party at the same time as Sophie Pod. It's funny, me and my drag mother both had babies at the same time.
Mm.
And it started out as a silly day party, but likewise, in the pandemic, things changed and it became a nonprofit organization because they started raising funds to be able to give grants to trans and disabled performers that could not perform in the pandemic. Not everybody could put a mask on and go perform. Some people,
Right.
a lot of them are immunocompromised. And now, in the era that we're in politically, especially in the Bay Area, there's a big divide in terms of the conflict that's happening in Gaza. And
Mm.
there's a lot of like what we call like pink dirty money in San Francisco. And there's a lot of like pink washing of like funds that maybe people that like want to back the other side of that conflict,
Right.
they're using their big money to fund gay things in the Bay Area. And so, for
Oh,
example, organizations like Oaklash or like the Bad Fund, they'll say, "Hey, we'll give you a grant to say no to that gig." And so I'm more interested in giving them a voice than
right.
necessarily the Drag Race girl. Although I'll take the Drag Race girl on my show any day because yes, it will give me more clicks.
That is so
Mhm.
interesting too, because like I think this part, a lot of people have been focused on this like anti DEI backlash and all that stuff. But yeah, I didn't even think the money's gonna go somewhere. Like,
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
because for a lot of these companies, it's charity write-offs anyway. It's like it's
Mhm.
literally
Yep.
a line item. So it's like we were writing off that we were giving to Black Lives Matter, but it's got to go somewhere. So yeah, it's back to the gays.
Mhm.
They'll take the money or whatever. And yeah, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that. That is that's funny. I've never heard of pink washing before, but
Mm-mm.
that makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and in an era where because of the DEI pullbacks, for example, San Francisco Pride lost a lot of its funding.
Mhm.
And they're a little lost in their messaging too because they got so corporatized and they got so pink
Right.
washed. And so, for example, when we just had Oaklash a few weeks ago, not us, San Francisco Chronicle said it, then when Pride is struggling, Oaklash is thriving. And it's because
Mhm.
we are community funded. We take those $5, $10, $20 from community. I mean, just like when I was, when I was at El Rio, on Friday with my big titties at front, we take those, and whether it's $2 or $20,
It
we
all
take it.
counts.
Yes, yes. And
Nah, that's,
so I'm very proud of my friends, and I'm very proud of my drag mother, Mama Celeste. I love her.
now you say you do drag, so women do
Yes.
drag too as well. Do you drag as men? Do you drag as women? Do you have a persona?
So
How does it work?
I will happily answer this question every single time somebody asks me. So drag is performance art, period. And I like to think of it as enhancing something. So there are drag queens, there's drag kings, there's drag creatures. Sometimes there's a performance where like it doesn't even look like a person, it looks like a creature, but they're doing drag. Most of the time it's a performance art of some sort. You're on a stage, you might be lip syncing, you might be singing, you might just be moving.
Mm.
I present as a drag queen because I usually do more of like a feminine presentation, but I
Mhm.
also like a little gender fuckery kind of aspect to it. So for example, when I did drag a couple weeks ago, I was doing a male song, like a male singer, but like in female presentation because gender's a construct and we tear it apart. And so I like to think of it as like look at what the presentation is, not necessarily the body under it, because there's also non-binary people. And
Right.
so if you see a prince that looks like a boy, that's a drag king. If you
Mhm.
see a beautiful wigged, lashed, red-lipped, big tittied person, more than
Mhm.
likely a drag queen. And if they have claws, more than likely a creature. But it's all just performance art at the end of the day.
Right.
Like these are all nerdy theater kids that
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
like to craft a little hard.
Yeah. Do you have like a drag persona, or is it just like it's still Mimi Cherry, or is
It's
Mimi
still
Cherry
Mimi Cherry.
drag? Okay. All right.
Okay.
It's still Mimi Cherry. And I'm actually, for the live show, I'm working on a number that is extra gender fuckery because it's going to be like a Bad Bunny mini mega mix. And
Mhm.
again, I like, but, and I'm going to have like male kind of vestige, but still will have like a very female kind of presentation. I'll shout out Major Hammy. Major Hammy is a drag performer in the Bay Area. They are female bodied, but they
Yeah.
do like this very gender fucky kind of like, they'll have a mustache, but like a bra and a garter belt and like a tie. And you're like, I don't know what you are, but you're hot. And
Yeah.
so I kind of like this gender, like the kids are doing this very gender fuckery kind of like aspect
Yeah.
to drag. And I really like it because it's just, we're just playing. We're just having
Yeah.
fun. It's
And
just,
you
it's
have
just theater.
it sounds like you have a team, you know what I mean? So like how much work and production and practice and stuff goes into all this stuff? Because I know like even when you post on Instagram sometimes it'll be like a photo shoot. Like it's not me posting selfies. Like it's like there must have been people
There was
here,
cameras and lenses
and I
and
see
lights.
you're like tagging people to be like this person photography, this person makeup. So like how much of a team effort is all of this stuff you're doing?
Well, that's a good question. It depends. So because I'm in this building mode, I've been scheduling these like marketing photo shoots. And so I just, at first it started as like a fun way to like celebrate my weight loss and then also, get marketing pictures, but then it also just became kind of like part of the content production machine. And my drag mom is amazing. Anytime I get to work with my drag mom, I love it. Nicole, who is now if I want to get rich enough so that she can just become my photographer and I can just hire her to shoot me all the time. But for example, when I was at Roland with the homos, I like pinged my trainer the week before. I was like, what do I need to do to convince you to be on part of my gig? She said nothing. I said, cool, it's Sunday. Can you push me around in a chair? She said, okay. And I bought her the outfit. She showed up Sunday morning. We rehearsed for an hour. I did all my makeup. I stoned my outfit. Like, I actually felt like a proper drag queen for the first time because I did my own makeup, I did my own hair, and I stoned my own outfit.
Wow, that's now it's like whenever I see the like pictures or whatever, I'm just like, how like what? This is a production. Like this, like it's not just a like it's not just like
Cherry Productions.
Yeah, there was like a plan. There was like an execution that happened. There were people involved.
I have
Like,
a question.
Just wait till the live show. Just wait till the live show.
Karen, what were you gonna
Yes,
say?
Karen.
What does stoned your outfit mean? Did you put stones on it? Did you tamper it down?
Do you want to vamp for 1 second?
Yeah, okay. All right, she's going to get something, guys. So
Because she used
let's see.
they use that
What's going
phrase.
on?
I was like, that means something.
Yes.
And I was like, let me make sure it means what I think it means, because I might think one thing and it could mean something else.
Oh, like rhinestones or
that's
like some.
pretty.
Okay, nah, that's pretty. That's dope. You did that yourself. Okay.
Yes, by hand, every single little stone.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. How long did that take?
Yeah. Hours.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, dedication. That's what it's about, guys. All right.
But now I feel like a true drag queen.
Yeah, and you get to keep that forever. Like that's
Mhm.
yours. Like that's a what do you call that? Like a unique piece to your ensemble. Can have that.
Yeah, I mean, I used it in the photo shoot. I performed in it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
part of the rotation now.
So for the fitness journey, because you always talking about that too. Listen, okay, we out here. We getting gains out here. We getting gains out here.
My biceps are bigger than my trainers.
Word? Okay, we love to see it. We love to see it.
Are you getting them legs like Roger? I call Roger legs thunder thighs.
Yes.
Listen, we love to see it. Okay. But like, what was that like? Was that also part of the hard 70? What was it, hard 75? Was it like
the medium boiled 76?
Okay. Yeah, what made you like was it because it sounded like you were saying like you wanted to celebrate your weight loss, so was it a thing where like during the pandemic it slowed down and you were like, okay, now I'm back out here, or was it something you were always doing? How's that going?
So the weight thing for me has been like I was a very thin and active kid in Puerto Rico. And actually, it's interesting, right? Because I've noticed it's a through line with a lot of people that, like, when they come to the States, they gain weight. Because there's something in our food, y'all. And I came to the States as a teenager, and then my body changed. And then I started struggling with my weight. And so ever since I was 18, pretty much, I've been really into fitness. My grandfather was a natural bodybuilder. My mom is really thin. But on my other side, my dad's side of the family, like my grandfather looked like Santa Claus. And like, they would like pile on the food and telling you you're too skinny. And so while at the same time calling you fat because, Latin people. And in the pandemic, I really fell down the bottle and the Uber Eats rabbit hole and like not moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I gained like a good 75, 80 pounds. I'm 50 down on that. I still have like maybe 25 to go, but right now I feel good. Like I feel really good about where I'm at with my body. I feel way healthier. That's another thing with the catfish is that like I was in my heavy kind of like mode and not really confident. And like he tried to use that against me too, like, calling me fat and stuff. And I was like, oh, hell no.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's so interesting too, because like at least for me, a part of me like getting like more fit and stuff was getting a team. So it was like I have to admit I don't know everything and maybe I need a little help, motivation and stuff. So like nutritionist, trainer, all that stuff. Joining the gym again. And I think for a lot of people it's just like the physical outer stuff, but for me it's just been a lot of it internally rewarding, like feeling better about yourself, knowing like what your body can accomplish, because I think also outwardly like a lot of the stuff that people see is actually slow, like that, like it, like if I take a picture every time I leave the gym basically just to be like bam I did it, but also like it's not gonna change from Tuesday to Wednesday. But shout out to Facebook memories and stuff. It'll be like, remember you from 5 years ago? And I was like, oh no, I see what people saying. I did lose some weight.
Yeah, because that was very hard for Roger to do it. So he was like, I don't see it.
Yeah, because my brain is not very, and I think because my motivation wasn't solely like lose weight as fast as possible, with not knocking people whose motivation is that. But I was like, I want to get stronger. I want to gain muscle. I want to get endurance and stuff that things I haven't had since I used to play basketball 5 days a week. So a lot of that stuff is coming along, but it can be like a bit of a head trip to go through that. So have you always had a trainer, or is that like is your trainer like a new thing?
On and off over the years, because in my 20s I worked in gyms. I worked at 24 Hour Fitness. I worked at Club One. I worked at Crunch. I love the fitness industry, and so I've been fit and then gained weight, and then been fit and then gained weight. So like it's been a bit of a yo-yo thing. So I'm not new to this, but this is the healthiest approach I've done at it, because I mean, hello, I have como se dice, addictive personality, right? And so that can apply to the gym. Like the last time that I was quote unquote super fit, I was working out twice a day. I was barely eating. Like that shit is not sustainable either. So now it's about finding like a sustainable path. And my trainer that I have now, she's the one that to me has the healthiest approach also to her fitness and to how she's training me, because she pushes me, right? Like there's time like when she'll have me out here deadlifting, I don't know, like 100 something pounds, and I'm like, what, you want me to do that? What? And she's like, you can. But then when I'm like, my knee hurts, she's like, okay, let's stop. You know what I mean? And so I appreciate that she's not out here like trying to kill me. That's either, or like
thing. Honestly, I think it's important to note that, because I think two things. One, there's many trainers, guys. So if you're thinking about it, you're out here like, man, I'm intimidated by it. You're hiring them, not the other way around. So if it's somebody that's putting you into an uncomfortable place, or a place where you're like breaking your body down or hurting yourself, you can always be like, I don't like this and I want to find someone else. But two, my trainer has been such a beautiful like godsend to that part, because she doesn't push me to like hurt myself, like, which is like a huge thing, because if anything, I realize how much internally I am a type A person, and something I've never wanted to accept about myself, because I'm like, no, I'm cool, I'm super chill, like fuck that,
I'm chill, but, I'm cool.
We can just do anything, it don't matter. But then I found that it was my voice that was fucking me up. Like she'd be like, oh, your knee is hurting, maybe do walks and or not walks, do bike instead of walks, do like the one where you sit down or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. But in my brain, I'm like, the 2 days later, I'm like, I'm not no bitch. I can go for a walk. It's just a fucking walk. I can't walk. I think I will walk. And then later my knees on fire and I'm like, she was right. I probably shouldn't have walked. She didn't tell me to walk. And now I have to come in here next week and face her and be like, yeah, so my knee's still fucked up. I took that walk that you said not to take. And and I remember one time she went on vacation for like a week or something. I had to come up with my own thing for that week. And I'm like, I was actually jazzed about it. I was like, because, you know, in their mind, they're like, oh, this person's going to feel like we didn't do our meeting. So did they not get their money that week? I was like, no, fuck that. I've been using you to learn how to do this. I know now. I see the matrix. I'm going to fucking put together a workout. And I put together this fucking workout. And I'm like, in my brain, like, she gonna be, when I get back, she gonna be like, what you was doing, what? Because I'm lifting so much, I'm doing so much. First time doing it on my own, I like fucked my whole knee up. Just like I was pushing the sled. I had too many plates. It was like I was just like thinking I was fucking gonna be in the He-Man Olympics.
No,
and
sir.
so you know, I told her all this. She was like, why were you doing that? And I was just like, oh, well, you know, I wanted to like show that I could really like push it myself and do this. She was like, no, that's not what we're doing here. The plan
for
is
me to do, not for you to do.
the plan is for you to be able to do something enough times the right way, not for like pushing something 300 pounds one time means shit. That means absolutely nothing. Pushing something 150 times, 12 times in the perfect form and being able to do that 4 times in a day, that's the workout. And so, but anyway, all that stuff to say, like, I think at least in my mind, before I got a trainer, I thought trainers were like the montage in fucking Rocky where the guy's like, chase the chickens, you bitch ass, do that shit. Like, I thought that's what they were doing, and it's not that at all.
Well, and I'll tell you this because I've had so many trainers. I've had the full gamut. You also will have trainers that don't push you enough. I say all that to say that trainers are trainers and they're just another person on a journey to help you. And there's 10,000 modalities. Like, I use an app when I don't work with my trainer. I have an app on the iPhone called the Ladder app. I highly recommend it. I've used a lot of fitness apps. It's the closest thing to having a personal trainer. And you pick like a team and the coaches have different modalities. And so like the modality that I use, she combines Pilates and fitness training. There's other modalities that combine yoga and fitness training. There's another modality that's like just kettlebells. So like you find what you like, and when it comes to fitness, it has to be something that you like, whether it's dancing or swimming or weights or kettlebells or Pilates or whatever. Find what you like and then find the trainer that does that modality.
That's okay. Learn something new. Appreciate you. And then also, of course, like get you some video editing stuff so y'all can like post y'all workouts and look cool like Mimi Cherry does. Like, she's always doing the like, bam, I did this one and then we did this and now I'm doing these. Like, okay, I'll see you out here. You know what I mean? I think I started posting mine after that. I was like, these are
you did.
I gotta get so I'm in here doing it too. Okay, I know how to set up a camera.
Yeah. I got a tripod.
Yeah, exactly. I gotta wave.
This is all you need.
You just need that, okay? Honestly, I'll be in there ghetto tripod and I'll be like setting up,
just
like
put it on something.
Yeah, I'm like, if I put this block up against this weight and I wait till everybody leave, but it's
called resourcefulness.
Come on, okay? I'm still shy too. I wait till they leave. Like, I don't do it when too many people in the gym with me. I'll be like, I'm in here working by myself, so now let me do it. But whenever it's other people, I'll be like, look at you walking through my shot. You just gonna walk through my shot like that, okay, player? So. The bake. When is the bake coming up again?
August 7th, San Francisco Oasis nightclub. We're doing the cabaret style in the big room. I have the big room, kids. We're bringing comedy, drag, silly podcast games, the Bay Area's first reverse roast.
I put the link in the chat. The link will also be in the show notes for people to get their tickets.
Thank you.
And yeah, no, of course. I mean, like, it's so easy. And like, what exactly, like, do you plan on doing for people to like lift them up with this bake? Like, can you give me an example of a bake joke? Like, what would you say to somebody that's the opposite of a roast? Because I feel like roast, we've seen so many, it's just so easy to be like, this mean thing. I don't even know what I would say nice to somebody. Like the concept on my mind.
The thing about the bake is that it's nice in a cunty way. So Rod, how fucking dare you be so kind to me today and have such a fucking beautiful wife like Karen next to you? And Karen, I really truly don't understand how you can sit next to this wonderful, wonderful man day after day and do this wonderful podcast called The Black Guy Who Tips.
I hope this catches on. I hope everybody starts doing bakes. We need this bake. We need bake culture in the world right now. We're tearing each other down too much. Thank you for
coming. And it's going to be very easy for me because I have a very talented cast. Oh, by the way, we just started rolling out the cast announcements. The cast announcements. So please stay tuned to my social media, Mimi Cherry IG on Instagram. I just announced the first cast member, local icon legend Nicole Jizzington, aka Nikki Jizz, host of Reparations at San Francisco Oasis. Black excellence in a wig, with a wig, under a wig, with a wig, under a wig, breaker of tops, drinker of tings.
Honestly, this is the worst part about me not being in the drag culture is the pun names is exactly my bag.
right.
Like Nikki Jizz, come on.
Yeah, like if nothing else, I feel like I could have done that. I was thinking about I don't know if y'all guys remember that cartoon, a Saturday morning cartoon. It's called like Cops, or I think it was called Cops, C.OPS or whatever. Anyway, it wasn't good. But the villain names on those cartoons,
hilarious.
Those could all be great drag queen names.
Yes.
Ms. Demeanor is fucking that's amazing. Like there were just like so many stuff like that. Even like Captain Planet, like August Greeley and shit.
Those names.
Like, maybe they were slipping it in at the time. We just didn't know. They was like, listen, we got some great drag names, but we don't know what to do with them. Make them into kids' cartoons. They're the coolest part of the show anyway. Mimi, tell the people where to find you and how to, how to become a listener to Sophie.
You can find me at seriesoffortunateevents.com or SOFEPOD.com. If on Instagram, Mimi Cherry IG, because somebody stole, it's some kid that's like sitting on it. She's posted like 8 things and never posted ever since. Give me my Mimi Cherry.
Right. When you're not doing anything with it.
Come on.
Exactly. And also follow my baking journey. I just started a Little Batch Company. And yes, as in a little batch. There's small batch items. I'm launching the micro bakery very, very soon. So stay tuned for that. If you're in the Bay Area, definitely follow because you can actually buy them from me. Or even if you're not, I am going to start making things that I can send in the mail. My ADHD is getting the best of me. Rod, I'm going to give you your show back.
Well, listen, we'll have to have you back. This is cool, like to do a first interview and introduce people to the audience. But we'll have to have you back and play games.
Yes, and play games. That'll be fun.
Pop culture and TV shows and all that type of stuff. Because I definitely want to pick your brain about some of that stuff. And yeah, thanks for having us. Thanks for coming on. I mean, we'll be back throughout the week.
No, thank you.
And make sure you guys check out Mimi Cherry. Until next time. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Bye, Mimi.
Good one.